Based on its name, you'd think Civilization V Brave New World would see the game branching out in unexpected directions. Instead, the expansion is a grand refinement, reforming key aspects like diplomacy and culture and making them much more viable than before. The result is a game that requires even more management and consideration, which creates a wonderfully tense balancing act. Sadly, these improvements also make long-standing issues like erratic AI and cumbersome negotiations all the more apparent. You'll need to brave some real difficulties to navigate this new experience. The biggest change in this newest expansion is the complete overhaul of culture. Previously, gaining a cultural victory meant constructing specific buildings, wonders, and employing specialist artists. Players then had to plug away at social policies until they completely filled out 5 policy trees. In a game that focuses on interaction, pecking away at internal development in solitude was very passive and boring. The more entertaining alternative was to simply amass an army and roll over anyone who got in your way. With Brave New World, culture finally feels like a true force. Rather than complete trees, players have to generate sufficient tourism to attain a cultural victory. The game refers to tourism as offense and culture as defense, with each having their own separate numerical values. If you can produce more tourism than each opposing civilization's culture, you win. Are other civilizations lagging behind in culture? Gun for as much tourism as possible. Has another civilization recently amped up tourism? Quickly pump up culture before they have an advantage. While the reconstruction of culture undoubtedly benefits the game, it's hard to shake the notion that this is what it should have been originally. With Civilization V rapidly approaching 3 years old, the culture system feels like a long overdue fix, rather than an exciting new feature. Another big change is the World Congress, which gives diplomacy a much sharper edge. The first civilization to discover all other civilizations and research the printing press founds the World Congress. As founder, you receive the most delegates, which is vital. The more delegates you have, the more likely you are to enact your proposals or reject the proposals of others. Proposals can have significant impact on the way the game plays out. For example, you can enact a standing army tax, which increases unit maintenance by 25%, severely hampering militant civilizations. One of the best things about the World Congress is it makes city-states more important. Pre-expansion, creating and maintaining city-state relationships took significant resources and didn't always feel worth it. Now, the more city-state alliances you establish, the more delegates you have, giving you a higher level of prestige in the World Congress. Even though the World Congress adds significant depth, it doesn't fix diplomacy problems present since the game's launch. Talking with other civilizations is as vague and frustrating as ever. It's often hard to tell exactly what a civilization wants, how they feel about you, or what motivates their actions. Say you've maintained an alliance with a civilization for a long time, when suddenly they denounce you or declare war seemingly at random. The lack of transparency is infuriating, especially considering how elegantly the game handles city-state relationships. A bar of influence represents how a city-state feels about your civilization, so when you make an action, it's very easy to see how the city-state responded. With rival civilizations, you feel like you're playing a guessing game. Similar to the World Congress, ideologies are great additions, despite complementary systems feeling out of date. In the second half of the game, a player can adopt one of 3 ideologies: autocracy, freedom, and order. Autocracy is great for civilizations that want to win through military might. Freedom is for civilizations prioritizing culture, and order helps civilizations interested in expansion. Once your civilization adopts an ideology, you can place points that would normally go to social policies into ideological tenets. There's a much greater degree of flexibility with ideologies than social policies. Despite the fact that each ideology has a particular focus, they allow you to change as the game changes. Say you pick autocracy, but don't currently need to focus on strengthening your army. The third alternative tenet will increase food and science in your capital. Investing in a social policy is comparatively limiting because it can't benefit you as broadly. If you spend points obtaining policies in rationalism, you're only going to receive science-related bonuses. In a game that requires quick adaptation, it's disappointing that social policies feel impotent alongside the new ideologies.
以下の件についてご賛同いただければ。
The best thing about Brave New World is that it finally capitalizes on one of Civilization V's main goals: provide multiple and equally viable routes to victory. Culture and diplomacy no longer feel less valuable than science and military might. However, it's almost like you're paying $30 for fixes and alterations. It also doesn't help that the AI is as cryptic as ever. The expansion is no doubt substantial, but it's also paying for sins of the past.